Hey, hey, hey! Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Space Engineers. Let's go live.
No, we gotta start over. Man, that Iron Man too.
Man, that Iron Man 2.
There we go.
But no, I love
Welcome to our rating of Iron Man 2.
like
I thought
actually
this
though.
was Space Engineers. Nope, this is a podcast on just Iron Man 2.
But like honestly, what was your favorite suit in all of the Iron Man movies?
The first Avengers.
First Avengers?
First Avengers, because it was more advanced, but it was still mechanical.
And I thought we were choosing the Iron Man movies, not the Avengers. It's cheating.
Yeah.
Well,
For shame.
Iron Man 2 did have the briefcase suit, which was cool.
I loved that so much. I hate the nanotech that they came up with eventually. It just
I liked the half nanotech stuff that he had in Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Where like, oh, he could turn his watch into a
a
hand pulsar thing. Yeah, like that was neat. But it
Yeah.
kept most of the armor was still like
Actual armor.
actual armor, and some of it was
Yeah.
nanotech, but it wasn't all nanotech.
hmm
And then the nanotech was cool for all of like a second.
Yeah. It
And
looks
they did some interesting stuff with it, but they didn't show it off well enough, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch very closely at Tony fighting in the nanotech armor, you can see, like, clearly the fight animators were doing interesting shit. Of, like, Tony having one of the arms ripped off. And he can only repair the nanosuit so fast.
Yeah.
So... Or the nanosuit can only regenerate so fast, so he has to pick and choose what bits repair and when. And shit like that.
Yeah, you're talking about the bits where he fought like Thanos in Infinity War and his suit had to regenerate. Like, I didn't hate the nanotech, but it was cooler when it was more grounded. Like, I love War Machine's suit because it is the most grounded Iron Man suit. Like, it is just an Iron Man suit with a shit ton of guns on it, and I love that.
That's the best part, yeah.
Like that scene where they're back to back, and I think it was the end of Iron Man 2, where they're fighting the legion of like Iron Man robots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he in Rhodes is just like shooting in 4 different directions just because of the amount of guns on his armor.
Yeah, it was great.
It's so badass.
It was great. And like, it would have been more interesting if the nanotech was just for extra shit.
Yeah.
Like,
but then
creating the shields, or creating weapons out of nothing, like shit like that.
Yeah.
But the suit itself, and repairing the suit, but the suit itself is still like, what's it called? Bulky.
Yeah.
And real.
I love the Hulkbuster suit.
It's so, it's kick-ass.
And that's what makes it so cool.
The bulkiness.
Because with the nanotech shit, it was like, oh, if I lose an arm, it's no big deal. But with the Hulkbuster, if Hulk ripped off one of the arms, he had to get a new one.
Yeah, like he had shit like on standby and freaking satellite drop pods to replace his bits as he got throughout the fight. That was
great.
Because it really showed, like, it wasn't just about the suit itself, it was about, like, the character, like, how he was prepared for every eventuality.
Mm-hmm. And also
like,
how
oh,
it,
man,
like, built
lose an arm,
on
gotta
itself.
replace it.
Because he learned how to do that in Iron Man 3. Like, a lot of Iron Man 3's plot is Tony figuring out how to have suits come to him.
Yeah. Like, it showed the progress of that.
Right.
Which is, instead of him just like, oh yeah, this happens now, and it works, so...
And the upgrades from, like, well, if there's an emergency, he has the briefcase suit.
Yeah.
To, he can just have a suit come to him. Like a full suit come to him from somewhere else nearby.
Yeah.
Like, he was always getting better at building suits.
Yeah.
which is the whole point. And then he figures out this nanotech shit, and it's like, all right, I don't have to make new suits anymore because I can just program the nanites to do a different thing.
Yeah. Which is, it's a cool concept, but
it was used well in a few places, but
yeah. I think the guns looked lame.
yeah, it just looks lame.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem, is that it looks lame. It's too sleek.
Yeah.
It looks like a freaking Tesla compared to like normal cars.
Yeah.
It looks like it's trying to be futuristic when it just kind of just looks bad.
Yeah. It's like the Camaros, I guess. I love like the 69 Camaro because it's bulky. It's like it's an actual muscle car, but the new one looks really fucking mid.
Yeah, they do.
I hope I'm not the only one with that opinion on the modern Camaro.
I don't know.
Man, that Ben just pissed off Camaro owners everywhere.
I was. Do you remember the original Transformers movie?
Yes.
With like Shia LaBeouf.
Yes.
I was so disappointed when Bumblebee changed his Camaro. It was the fattest downgrade. I don't know.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch the first Transformers movies because all I remember is like it's like a fever dream at this point. It's just the Marines fighting the Scorpion Transformer in the desert.
That was
getting
good.
their
like the
fucking
first
ass
scene.
handed to them.
I
As they
love
should.
in the Transformers movies. I loved when the Transformers fought humans. I don't know why. It's just my favorite part.
It was
Every
pretty
time.
good. Yeah.
Well, because it's the same reason why I like Battle LA.
I don't know what that is.
Even though Battle
Oh my
LA
God,
is
I
a pretty
love
mid movie.
The Battle of Los Angeles. It's a terrible movie, but it's a great
so mid, but I
war
love
movie.
it. It's so good.
If you don't know,
it's not
Aliens
like,
Attack
and it's
Los
not even
Angeles.
so bad. It's good. It's just mid. But if you're into that kind of thing,
Yeah.
into that premise, it's great.
Dog, I just watch movies for the experience. I don't really care about if it's good or not.
Battle of Los Angeles had a little bit of War of the Worlds vibes. I think it would have
Yeah.
been perfect.
Yeah, I think that I think the biggest problem with Battle LA is that the aliens are too human
Yeah, they
in their
just look like
tactics and shit.
in armor.
Like,
Like you could literally just replace the premise with like the premise from like Red Dawn, and it'd be the same.
pretty much, yeah. If it was just Red Dawn, then if they were just the Russians,
Yeah,
then
it's same
it would
movie.
still work. It's the same movie.
We need to have a watch along where we watch Battle LA with Fen, and then Fen can just tear apart the movie where we just agree with him the entire time because yeah, it's pretty shit, but it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good movie, but I love it.
That is such a perfect sentiment to have for that movie. I don't like it either, but I love it.
For me, it's the movie is not the best sci-fi movie, which is a shame because
I wouldn't
they
even
do a lot
describe
of
it.
interesting shit. Like, some of the stuff they do is really interesting, and there's a lot of technical documents that they released about like how the aliens work, how they think, how they do tactics. There are different aliens for different things. Like, the taller ones are leaders,
Oh, like Invader Zim.
and whatnot.
I would describe it more like Halo,
But
a little bit,
like,
where you got enemies that are very clearly the leaders. Like you got defined roles in the hierarchy.
That's literally Invader Zim, though. The taller ones are the leaders.
but that's kind of the problem, though. You know what Halo does really well? Making the aliens look cool and unique. And like, the grunts look very different to the officers, and they're interesting. Whereas in Battle LA, because it was like this weird amalgamation of sci-fi and military shit, they wanted to make everything gray and brown, you know?
Yeah.
But as a military movie, it does shit really well.
Mhm.
Most of the Marines act how you would expect them to react when most of them have never been in combat before, and their first sortie is in Los Angeles fighting aliens. Like, yeah, they're reacting about how you would expect. But, like, they clearly did their homework because, like, they all use squad tactics very well.
Yeah.
They all act in ways that generally make sense. You have the one plot thing that I really don't like that I'm sure they just added for drama, which is how several of the Marines keep shitting on Staff Sergeant for no fucking reason.
Shitting on them just to shit on them?
Well, because he has combat experience and he has a reputation for having left someone behind in his last deployment. And they all just shit all over him for it. And eventually they come around and they're like, okay, so actually in combat, these things happen.
Yeah.
But
Realize, shit, we were kind of assholes.
like,
yeah,
it's very annoying. And honestly, the best part of the movie is the very beginning, when they're on the helicopter. Easily the best part of the whole movie.
Man, I'm gonna go watch Battle Los Angeles after this stream tonight. I want to go do that.
It is a very
been
good movie.
so long since I watched the movie.
I missed District 9.
District 9 was
District
really
9 was
good
also
too.
good.
That was pretty solid.
But like, there are so many things about Battle LA that are done really well, and they miss the whole sci-fi part of it. Like, they don't do the sci-fi part well enough.
Like, you look at the aliens and you could say, oh, that's a human in power armor, and you could 100% believe it. Like,
Yeah.
you don't even know it's an alien in there. Don't they unmask? Do they take the armor off of an alien at one point? in
Yeah,
Battle
there's
LA?
a whole thing where they manage to get one alive and drag him into a police station or something, and they start dissecting him to try and figure out what makes them, like, where to shoot. Because when you're looking at a human being, it's you shoot center mass, and if you're lucky, you hit the head. Right?
Yeah, wasn't it like
they
its
go down.
abdomen or something? There's something weird.
Their
Or
hearts
something
are on the
different.
wrong side.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
It was one of the unique things they did with the movie where it would have worked better if the alien was different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the alien was a little more interesting, and the whole, like, because the dissection scene is interesting, where they drag the guy into a building and they just start ripping his armor off and cutting him open
It makes complete sense that they would do this to
until
figure out
they
where
find the major organs.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's just not interesting enough.
it's just that the aliens themselves are not interesting enough, so it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
It sucks, but what can you do?
all the aliens in Halo are just human and smaller human and bigger human.
Yeah, like that would be awful. Could you imagine? And they do have a lot of like they do some stuff really well. They don't go far enough. Like all of the aliens, if you look at them really close, they have like cybernetics and shit.
Yeah.
But they just don't go far enough to make them
Don't
visually
they have some
appealing.
unique vehicles though? I remember they had a fight scene with a tank, right?
Yeah, it was a fucking.
Weren't their vehicles pretty wacky?
Yeah. There was it was like a walker, like a small walker that had a big missile launcher on
okay,
it.
I'm gonna have to look this up again because I do not remember. I remember there was a scene where they battled like a tank, but I don't remember what it looked like.
Was it a Paul walk?
It's like a fever dream, bruh. No, it did not crash. Shut up, Finn.
But also, like, I don't know. And then they do the whole twist with the aircraft, which is really weird. That the aliens were just fighting without air cover for hours and hours.
I entirely forgot about that.
Well, because, like, at the very beginning, when they land in the helicopter at the FOB, Forward Operating Base, and they're getting orders, and basically the plan is we're trying to get civilians out, put up a quarantine to just stop them here, right? Stop their advance right here. And then at so-and-so hours, whatever time it is, they don't have any aircraft. So the Air Force is just going to level the whole fucking area. But they do this twist where they get to right around that point when the Air Force is supposed to roll in and fuck shit up. And then all of a sudden, the aliens have aircraft.
Yeah, it's like the one thing that should never happen is air superiority whenever you're fighting aliens, because that's like the one thing you would 100% lose in, no matter what. Like, they show up in
I mean, that was
spaceships.
the
man.
whole
Probably they don't have
plot of
gunships,
Independence Day. The whole plot of Independence Day is that, like, the aliens had massive air superiority.
We're just gonna pretend that Independence Day 2 never happened.
Yeah, well, fuck, we don't care about that. And Independence Day 2 is, well, it's bad for a lot of reasons. But it's
Can't
especially
even tell
bad
you what
because...
happened in Independence Day 2 because I forgot about the entire movie.
So... there's a bunch of bullshit that I don't remember. The only bits that I remember are that the world just assumes that, in general, they assume the aliens are just not going to come back and try again, right?
Oh, yeah, I remember the weird fucking space ball showed up, and now I remember
Yeah,
it.
and then there was...
Yeah.
They did come back, and they came back with a much larger invasion force that was so big that it fucked up the tides on Earth.
Jesus.
Which could be cool, but because of the rest of the movie is bad, it's not cool.
Oh.
And they figure out that it's coming because of long-range satellites noticed, like, an absurdly large shadow.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember now. I actually liked the beginning of Independence Day 2 because the whole premise was, hey, we took the technology of the last invasion and incorporated it into our own, so we should be able to defend ourselves now. Probably.
Right.
I actually liked the beginning.
I liked that part. The one thing I didn't like is that all of the, like, weird half alien, half human like planes, I guess. I don't know what you would call them. They kept them all at one base.
Yeah, all your eggs in one basket type deal.
For the whole planet. They understood that any return invasion force, if it came, would probably be much larger, for one. And two, that they needed to be ready for it, and their defensive zone is the entire planet. So their solution was to make about 100 half UFO, half fighter plane aircraft and put them in one spot. That's the thing that was fucking stupid. And they could have done so much more interesting shit. Like, what if they had taken one of the super cannons, the death rays, from one of the saucers, the big ones that leveled cities?
Didn't they? I thought that's what the cannon was that they had on the moon.
Maybe, but I don't remember.
I remember in the movie they had a big super weapon on the moon, and they were like, "This will for sure protect us. This will guarantee our safety, and if they ever show up again, we can fight them with their own technology." And then they just like blew up the moon or some shit, and they're like, "Well, that plan's gone."
Yeah. Yeah, it's annoying. You know what does this really well? The slow incorporation of alien tech. Stargate.
I don't think I know anything about Stargate, actually.
So, SG-1, the show, basically starts where the movie leaves off. Which is that we have the Stargate, right? The Stargate goes to other planets. So, they start exploring and shit. Yep.
Alright, are we just gonna line this with, like, refineries and assemblers?
Yep.
Okay, I will start putting down some refineries.
Just, you know, a bunch of them. Go nuts.
Yep.
The whole point is that so we can process huge amounts of material very quickly.
Chase.
So, SG-1, over the course of the show, you start with, it's just exploration teams going through the Stargate to check out all these planets that we can go to with the Stargate. And over time, they uncover more and more and more alien tech and slowly start incorporating it into shit. Until, like, fucking season 4 or 5, where we've gotten to the point where we've gotten enough alien tech to build our own starship by mixing human tech and alien tech. And it's super interesting. They do a really good job of slowly advancing the shit that they have access to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Independence Day 2 does not do that. It's just kind of bad.
I've always liked whenever it was like a progression of understanding of alien technology. I think a video game actually did it best, and it's XCOM.
Yes,
Where
XCOM does it the
you
best,
progressively
easily.
understand alien technology, and you don't just like, oh, we figured it out, we immediately have plasma weaponry. It's like, no, we figured out like how the velocity of these projectiles works, so now we have magnetic weapons instead of normal weapons, and then you progress through a tree until you finally reach where the aliens are.
Yeah.
That
And
to
you
me
never get
is
to a point even
perfect.
where, like, you do get to a point where you have plasma weapons and shit. But you never get to a point where you are manufacturing the weapons yourselves. You're just taking their shit and building your own weapons from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's like, oh, like, Illyrium is this crazy material that you can do shit with, but we don't fucking have any of it. So if you want alien weapons, you better fucking get it and bring it back.
Yeah.
Because we don't
And
know how
only
the hell
just-
they make it.
And not only just the material, just like the understanding of the technology. It's like you can never surpass the aliens. Like that is
No.
just a thing that you cannot do.
No, you can't
And
surpass
it
the
is- you
aliens.
can only ever just catch up to them, and that is
Yeah.
it.
You can catch up to their tech and then win via tactics. Like you win by outsmarting them. You never
If you
win
can
by
do that.
via numbers, and you never win via tech ever.
Should we have more than one reactor, or is just one good enough?
One's probably good enough. We have all the solar panels, and I'm probably going to build more batteries too.
Okay.
The nuclear reactor is just so that things don't just, shut down because we burn through all the battery power.
Yeah.
And
I'll put down a bunch of cargo containers too.
Okay. Oh yeah, we need
Yes.
a bunch of them.
Yep. They're going in the middle.
And we probably need scripting too. The whole shit. Like we do on the shark.
Oh, the Tim thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we should set up the Tim thing.
I'll see if I can figure it out. It's been a while.
Yeah, just copy whatever you did on the shark. It'll probably work. That's all any
Fingers crossed.
coders do.
that's
Yeah.
always reassuring. It'll probably work.
You'd be amazed how often that happens in software. Well, somebody else has
Yeah,
this thing
yeah.
that does something similar, so if we just copy that and modify it slightly, it'll probably work.
Yeah.
Copy paste to get rid of the errors. Hopefully, it does what it's supposed to.
A lot of software is just getting the work done as quickly as possible and efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
If somebody else has already invented the wheel, there's no point in reinventing it.
Yeah. That's why
You're just
there's
wasting
literal websites of just code that is already pre-written of just use this, it works, throw it in there, and then do whatever else you need to do. That is literally what I learned in college. It's just that these resources exist, use them.
Exactly.
While we're on the topic, well, not software, but sci-fi. Hey, well, what is your absolute favorite sci-fi universe?
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect.
Yeah,
I think that's a good choice.
it's not even a question. the thing with Mass Effect is that, I mean, there was a time I would have said Star Wars or Star Trek, but both universes have just been played to fucking death at this point,
Yeah.
and I just don't care about them anymore. Mass Effect
Yeah,
has thankfully had the issue of the last like 2 or 3 things to come out from that universe were so dog shit that the owners of the trademark just don't even want to touch it anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Are they not gonna? Are they not gonna make any more Mass Effects after?
oh, they totally
Andromeda?
are.
Oh, okay.
They did announce one. God only knows when it will actually fucking happen. And we don't know if it'll be good or not.
That's
but-
always the worry.
Mass Effect is good because in Mass Effect 1, they were very particular about setting up the universe and expanding on things and explaining things. And they do a lot of interesting shit, like, for example, how the Alliance gets around the limits on dreadnoughts in the same way that the United States and other nations did it after World War One.
Yeah.
Which is, oh, we can't build big gunships with huge guns and lots of armor because there are limits. Okay, we have a better idea. Let's just build a shitload of super carriers
Oh my God.
instead.
Yeah.
So the Alliance joins the Citadel, like, base laws that they have to then follow, right? And it's like, okay, we're only allowed 1 dreadnought for every, like, 4 the Turians have, right? The treaty doesn't say anything about aircraft carriers. So they just built tons of carriers instead. And it's the exact same thing that happened in real life after World War One. That's why the U.S. ended up with so many aircraft carriers in World War Two, before World War Two started. I mean, because they couldn't build more dreadnoughts, so they were like, "Well, aircraft it is."
Loopholes, people, loopholes.
Exactly. Because the aircraft could do as much damage or be as useful as a dreadnought. Whereas, like, okay, I can't build too many dreadnoughts. I guess I could build 100 destroyers, right? But, not the best replacement. You know? That's another reason why the US had so many smaller ships with torpedoes. Like the PT boats and the destroyers that were just fucking filled with torpedoes. Because it's like, well, we can't have dreadnoughts to take out... We can't have too many dreadnoughts to take out other dreadnoughts. But we can have, like, 10 destroyers launch 100 torpedoes at it. And hopefully they get lucky.
Why
Right.
spend so much on a big ship when you can have a bunch of tiny cheap ships, just throw a bunch of cheap shit and destroy something super expensive?
Exactly.
But
But in the Mass Effect universe, it's really funny how the Citadel species are... They don't go into a ton of detail on it. It's one of those, like, side lore things. But,
do we just want a bunch of yield modules on these?
how many of them are you building?
For like, no, I was like
Oh.
like on the back of the refineries and
Let's do
What do we-
one speed.
1 speed on each, and then the rest is
Yeah.
all yield.
Because otherwise,
Okay.
they're pretty damn slow.
Yeah, I'll put it on the top.
I still need to play through the Mass Effect games. I haven't even started, but like I do want to
Yeah.
start at 1 and work my way all the way to 3, just because of the choices carry over bit.
Yeah, that's
Mass
actually
Effect
really cool.
1's best thing that it did was the Codex. And the Codex was literally just, here's everything about the world you need to know. And they filled that fucking thing with stuff. and then they kept doing that in the later games. So that's why Mass Effect is such an interesting universe. Because of that codex. But it's very funny to me that the Alliance species were a little miffed when they saw that not the Alliance, when the Citadel species were inspecting Alliance ships and being like, well, what's this huge ship over here? That looks like a dreadnought. And they're like, oh, no, it doesn't have any guns on it. It's just full of fighters. Tens of thousands of them.
Sons of bitches.
It's one of the reasons why you don't see very many. Part of it is because of laziness in the later games, but it's one of the reasons why in the later games you almost always see Alliance fighter pilots and not many fighter pilots from other species. And it's very clearly they were just being lazy, right? But you can explain it away. Well, of course there's tons of human fighter pilots, because that's how the Alliance got around the treaties about dreadnoughts. So they were training them in the hundreds of thousands.
It doesn't make sense.
It's just one of those convenience things that, like, they can be lazy by not designing a bunch of fighter aircraft for different species. You know what I mean? Like, the Turians had one, but you don't see it very often. And the Geth have one, too. A fighter aircraft. But it makes sense for them to have one, right? Because each fighter is just a Geth that is linked to its carrier. You know? It's like the droid starfighters in Star Wars. Like, why have 1,000 Geth on the ship when you could put those Geth on the fighters and they're still linked to the ship remotely?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it makes a lot of sense.
I'm being called upstairs. I'll be back in just a moment.
Yep.
There he goes.
Yep, I'll be back.
But yeah, I really liked it in the
I'll go
that
into
they did that.
crab pod first.
That it's the reason why Alliance small ships like fighters and dropships and stuff are so popular, because they've spent the last 100 years innovating on them non-stop so that they can compete.
Yeah, it's basically just a comparison of modern day military, where like American aircraft carriers are just so advanced compared to everybody else. It's because we just focused on them hard compared to everybody.
Yeah.
And now we have 7 of them.
7?
Is it 7? Or is it 7 or 12?
It might be 12. We have a lot of super carriers. And that's
Yeah,
just the
we have a lot of
CVNs.
God, I should know this because I literally walk through a hallway every day at work where we literally have all the aircraft carriers on the fucking wall.
Why?
The site I work at is owned by the Navy, so.
Ah. Alright, what do we got? How many aircraft carriers are there currently?
It's funny because you look at the number of aircraft carriers and you're like, man, that's not really a lot to cover the entire world. But then you realize that these things are the size of fucking cities, so.
Yeah.
Like, it's a small city on the water, basically.
Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay. So, active commissioned carriers, and I'm going to exclude LHAs and LHDs for now. We've got CVN 78, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, and 77. So that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 11 super carriers. And 79 is undergoing sea trials, so that's 12. 80 and 81 are under construction, so that's 14-ish, unless they decommission one or two of them. And 82 has been ordered, but it hasn't been started.
Damn.
So 15. And that's only super carriers, CVN class. So if we include LHAs and LHDs, which are smaller carriers, amphibious assault ships, and multi-purpose amphibious assault ship, then the number goes way up to 22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
I know China technically has the largest navy in the world, but I wonder how
By
they
tonnage.
compare in by tonnage. And
By tonnage, they win. But it doesn't really mean anything.
I wonder how many like super carriers and carriers they have in comparison.
I think one. I think they have one carrier, maybe
I know they're in the
two.
middle of building a fuck ton, but who knows when those are ever going to be done.
Yeah, it's hard to say with them. With the Chinese, you gotta take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah, literally.
I know Russia has one. The one that keeps breaking down constantly.
Russia's navy is it's a pretty good joke at times.
Mm-hmm. At least China's navy can generally move under its own power.
Yeah. I feel Russia's navy is just there, so they have a reason to say we have a navy. Other than that, it's like, yeah, it just exists. It doesn't really need it, but it's there.
Yeah, I don't really know all the details about their navy, but I know that they have more than the US by tonnage, but that's not saying much.
No.
Because, like, oh, your boats are heavier? And? Like, that could just mean that, like, we could have more destroyers than them, and theirs are just fatter. It doesn't mean that they're better.
Yeah, it also depends on, like, in terms of, like, advanced weaponry, like, where their systems are at.
Yeah. Well, you can
Versus-
assume that anything that they have is at least 10 to 15 years out of date of the United States because they took it from the United States.
Yeah. Isn't their most recent aircraft almost a complete copy of what was it, the 35?
It's similar. I
believe-
think it's similar to one of the European ones. I don't remember. I know it's very silly that they don't design their own shit half the time. They just take ours.
Yeah. And then figure out how to mass produce it. Just because they have natural resources to do so.
Well, because designing shit is very hard. And you have to kind of just throw money at the problem until it's done. And the Chinese are not very good at doing that because corruption. And the reason the US is so good at designing things is because of corruption. They just keep throwing money at the problem until it's done.
Eventually somebody will do it. Because whoever does it usually gets paid a lot.
Well, yeah. It's like, well, design this thing, and a lot of R&D will run over budget. It's pretty common. And there are a lot of reasons. But because it's the nature of the corruption, where the US government keeps throwing money at the project because it fills jobs in that congressperson's district. right?
Yeah.
But if you just keep throwing money at it when it runs over, eventually they will finish it.
Yep. It will eventually get done. Eventually.
Or there might be a massive investigation. That has happened.
Yeah.
You remember those weird, those really weird, like, stealth, coastal ships the U.S. wanted? I can't remember what the class was. LCS, maybe?
Those weird things.
I think it was like LCS or something. And they only built a couple of them. And the
Yeah,
whole point was that they're for brown water operations. So the Navy, whenever they have issues like off the coast of like Africa or the Middle East or whatever, they either have to commit long-range munitions to the problem, which are expensive, or they have to send like very expensive, very large, very heavy ships like frigates into brown water, as it's called, right?
Yeah.
And they're blue water ships. They're meant for the ocean, not for like a fucking bay. You know?
Yeah.
So the idea, and I'm pretty sure it was the LCS ships, I can't remember, but the idea was that they would be state-of-the-art brown water operations. And that was like their whole job. So if you needed to, say, deploy a SEAL team somewhere, then they would be able to support that. Instead of having to do it off of an aircraft carrier or something similar, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, well, we need to deploy a SEAL team over here, or we need to keep them on station over here. Okay, well, we have to deploy an entire fucking task group to do that. Right?
Yeah.
The idea of the LCSs was, what if we just have ships that are meant for that job, that are cheaper, and they perform better in shallow waters, but not as well in open water, right? That was the idea. Well, anyway, it was a massive fucking clusterfuck of a project. Bad enough that eventually several people on the higher end of the businesses that were in charge of building the ships, ended up going to prison. Like,
Really?
they actually went to prison because they fucked up so bad. And
what'd they do?
Intentionally ignoring design flaws, manufacturing flaws, material flaws, shit like that, so that they could pocket more of the money.
Yep.
The usual.
Pretty standard.
Pretty standard. But they took it too far. They took it so far that the ships became virtually non-functional. And the Navy does not like it when you do that.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you cut corners here and there to make a little more money. It's another thing if the Navy spends millions of dollars on a ship and then it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of other issues with those ships, but quite a few of them came from major, like, building flaws. There were a lot of design flaws, too. A lot of things that never made it off the drawing board. It was a huge clusterfuck. Basically.
Yeah.
And,
they'll throw a bunch of money at the problem, but, I mean, as long as you deliver, they'll generally look the other way. But if you don't, you're kind of pushing your luck, buddy.
Yeah. You know how people joke that the U.S. has the common statement of "don't fuck with the boats"?
Yeah.
That includes building them.
Yep. Yeah, don't fuck with the U.S.'s boats. That everyone always says that, and then they say like, "Oh, Pearl Harbor."
Don't fuck with the boats.
Yeah, don't fuck with the U.S.'s boats. We love our boats. Don't know why, but we love our boats.
A lot of it just comes from the fact that most of the developed world is not on this continent.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of land in Central and South America and a lot of countries, but like most of the most powerful nations are not on this continent. So if you want to project force, you need a lot of fucking boats.
Yeah, those boats give us reach that originally we would never have.
But yeah, the LCSs had a lot of problems. They had this like modularity thing that they wanted to build in so that you could swap in modules depending on the mission that the ship had to do.
Oh yeah.
But that never really worked. They never quite figured it out. Now, the F-35 is basically the same thing. It's a very modular fighter. But most of the things, so like the Marines always buy the F-35s with the VTOL functionality.
And everybody buys the F-35 for different reasons, but the F-35 is extremely popular.
Yeah, well, the Air Force has their own model that has better general performance in a lot of ways, but it needs a longer runway. And then the Navy has a model that performs better for naval duties, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
And then the Marines have one that has VTOL that can take off on like an LHD, which has a very short runway, right?
Yeah.
And so the F-35 is very modular, but it's not like nobody is taking a Marine F-35 with VTOL and converting it to a naval one. Like, they're not modular in that way. The LCSs were meant to be modular in that way. That because the Navy has bases that they either own or have access to all over the world, right?
Yeah, literally.
The idea was that you would keep modules for different missions at those bases, and if an LCS needed to swap a module, it would pull up, they would replace the module in a day or two, and go do the mission, right? It just never quite worked out.
So many planes, so little time.
Yeah. Well, that's the other issue is doctrine, right? One of the reasons why the LCS program is such a clusterfuck is because admirals within the Navy are always competing for funding and attention.
Oh, man.
And you know what's sexy?
What's that?
Blue water ships, a new frigate, a new supercarrier, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
You know what's not sexy? Coastal ships.
Yep.
What do you mean? Those are so hot.
We have that issue at work a lot.
Have you ever heard stories about Coast Guard? Like Coast Guard guys and shit that they do on their boats and stuff. It's so stupid. There's a channel, this guy who runs it, I can't remember the name of the channel at the moment, but a guy who talks to people in VR chat, and he talks to a lot of military personnel and the Coast Guard stories.
Yeah. I've watched a couple of them.
Yeah, the Coast Guard stories are always the funniest, just because the shit they do compared to the actual Navy.
Yeah, they're fucking lunatics.
Yeah, they really are. I can see why it's well, I guess I wouldn't say the actual Navy isn't lunatics. I would just say that I definitely would say people on submarines are. I've met maybe 5 people at this point who have been on submarines. All of them are not normal.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can't be a submariner and be normal.
Yeah,
normal people that are in a metal tube below the ocean for months at a time lose their mind.
Yeah.
You can't be normal and do that
they went down there.
Or if they were normal, they don't come back normal.
I was talking to this guy at one point, and we walked outside, and it was raining, and he throws his hood up and everything to keep himself from getting wet, and I just didn't give a shit because it was like a light drizzle, and I was like, dude, what are you so worried about getting wet for? You were in a submarine. What are you afraid of, water? And he goes, dude, if I saw water, we were fucking dead.
Yeah, that was gonna be my guess.
It was like, you know what? Good point.
If it's raining in a submarine, you got a fucking problem.
Just a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, all the other submarine stories I have are not appropriate in any contexts.
Yeah.
No comment.
Yeah.
I almost ended up serving on an aircraft carrier or submarine because I almost ended up, if I wasn't able to find a job where I did, I was probably going to just end up biting the bullet and signing a 5-year contract with the Navy.
5-year
I
enlistment
didn't.
contract or contracting contract?
It was a contract where you would sign up and you would become a engineer to maintain reactors on either a sub or an
Ah,
aircraft carrier
okay,
for
one of
5 years.
them.
Yeah, you would live on the boat. You would be a civilian, but you would live on the ship for 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Well,
I'm sure
either
that they
that
would
ship or
rotate
going
you
from
just
ship
like
to
they
ship.
do everyone else, but
Yeah, I almost did that because the pay was just so incredibly good.
oh god,
But
yeah.
like it's 5 years of your life that is just dedicated to that sole purpose.
That's true, but when you get
Like,
out,
yeah, they train you for it, but like, dear God, man, it was like where I'm at now.
once your
I get
contract is
paid.
up, you can get very well paying jobs.
Yeah, I get right now where I'm at. I get paid. I still work for the Navy technically, but right now where I'm at, I still get paid like
Bigger
almost 3/4 of what I would have if I went with the contract.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy where I'm at now, but I almost ended up serving on one of those. And if they put me, I did
It's
not
kind of neat.
because I wouldn't have been able to choose. I was so terrified of being put in a submarine. I am not big on the ocean. I could probably be fine on aircraft carrier, but if they stuck me in a submarine, I do think I would have just gone insane like everyone else.
Well, it's the thing with the submarine is the claustrophobia and the smell and the general distaste of being in a metal tube. But the good thing is,
it's
if an
boring.
alarm goes off on a submarine, there's like a 50% chance that it's not going to be your fucking problem in about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Oh, we're getting depressurized? Well, I'm not gonna have to worry about it in a couple seconds. We're gonna get crushed.
Not
in
my
this
fucking
can.
problem. Oh, we lost engine power and we're sinking to the bottom of the Marianas Trench. Well, we got about 10 minutes before we all die in an instant.
Well, shit.
Oh well.
That's
Yep,
how it
tough,
is.
Tough shit, brother. Oh, well, we turned our sensors off for a little bit to stay dark, and we ended up hitting an underwater mountain. Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
Tough luck.
Submarines are something else, man. Oh, whoops, I accidentally turned the sonar on while the dive team was out there maintaining the hull.
No.
Oof, you can't do
they're
that,
not-
homie.
They're not coming back.
You're gonna fucking liquefy them.
Oh, whoops. Hey, Captain, on the bright side, nothing's nearby.
Not anymore.
Oh man, I just had a terrible thought when they must have discovered that it does that to people in marine life. When they use sonar for the first time, it was like, I wonder what happens when you're out in the water when we do this, and then they flip the switch and it's like, oh well, we just killed everyone in the water. Whoops.
Imagine the survivor's guilt from
Oopsie.
that. Tee.
Your Honor, my client pleads whoopsie daisy.
Well, to be honest, Your Honor, you weren't there, so,
I'll be right back.
I miss him already. Now, do we want the TIM system that's on the Shark, or do we want the same system that was on the Energy Low? Do we want the same system that I had on the Moon?
Probably the
Cool
one on the
stuff.
Shark, because the one on the Moon was that weird, complicated collector dispenser system.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'd rather have nothing compared to that. Should probably hook up a medical room or something to this platform. So we don't have to keep doing that.
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. I think I'm going to run most of the conveyors underneath the platform.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, there's space there.
Whoops. There we go. Oh. I think I'm gonna order pho tomorrow. I had some recently, but I kind of want more.
Frankly, I have no idea what that is.
Vietnamese noodle soup.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. PHO.
Hey, welcome back. I missed you.
Damn, brother. You didn't even say that when I first joined. I see you missed me whenever it's like less than 5 minutes, but whenever it's like a week, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, he's still alive. That's all that matters.
Brother, if I died on a trip to the bathroom, something seriously fucked must have happened between those 3 minutes.
I mean,
which is why I would miss you so much more.
It happens.
You know?
Always reminds me of those stories where somebody like dies whenever they walk out of the shower and they slip and just hit their head. Yep, that's it.
Yeah, that's my brother.
Not how I'd want to go out.
Fun fact, one time I was at, I don't know if it was Target or Walmart. This was when I was a kid, so it could have been Kmart, too. When I was very young, I was sitting in the kids section of the shopping cart.
Yeah.
And I was horsing around, and I wasn't listening, and I flipped the cart and hit my head on the floor, cracked it open.
Ouch.
You want to guess what my grandfather did? Fucking nothing.
Let's just glue that back together.
He wrapped it up to stop the bleeding, and that was it. People in the store were apparently very concerned.
It is what it is.
I imagine if your head splits open, there's usually a lot of
Well,
blood.
because I busted my lip open once, too. Basically, if you get a large wound anywhere on your head, it bleeds like fucking crazy.
Oh, it does. I had a kid on my bus in elementary school where he was crawling around, generally causing mischief on the bus, and we hit a big bump, and he literally rockets up into the ceiling of the bus, hits his head, and then slams into the floor. He cracked his head open. It was literally squirting blood.
Oh yeah,
don't like that.
There's a lot of blood pressure in the head, man. I was at a
Yeah, you could tell whenever his heart beat because every heartbeat was like a squirt of blood out of the brain.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I was in
It's
like
a pretty
a
terrifying
foam-
sight, especially when you're in elementary school.
Yeah. I was in a foam ball pit at a like amusement park where the whole room is full of foam balls and like foam ball cannons, and it's like a big jungle gym, right?
Yeah.
And I got my foot caught on something, and my lip hit the floor really hard, and it just busted open across the whole top, basically. Dude, there was so much blood. It was really bad.
Man, I am consistently surprised by what things on your body will bleed so much and what won't. Like, you'll injure something and it's like, oh yeah, there won't be that much blood, and then it just bleeds like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one time I picked up an air conditioner and my hand ran up the back of it, and I cut my hand open. But, like, it was just... it was not a deep cut at all. It was just like little scrapes across my hand, and I was like, oh yeah, this isn't a big deal. It started bleeding like a motherfucker. Like, it looked like I legitimately just took like a Bowie knife and just cut my hand in half. There was so much blood, and I was
It depends
just
on
like,
the cut. It depends on what you hit. Usually hand wounds are not that bad. Usually. But if you hit, like, the tendon near where the thumb is, or you go, like, across the palm, then it will bleed like a fucking crazy.
Like a crazy?
Yeah. Exactly. Like the crazy.
Like the crazy.
crazy. I was crazy.
I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room.
But yeah, the Navy is fun.
The Navy is fun.
It's very fun to live in the country where the first, second, and third largest air forces in the world reside.
Yeah. I always love that statistic.
Who has the what military force has the most planes? The U.S. Air Force. Who has the second most? The United States Navy. Third, the United States Army. Fourth is, I think, Russia. And then fifth is the United States Marine Corps.
Oh my goodness.
We have so much fucking aircraft, dude. It's insane.
Almost like air superiority rules the world or something. Crazy.
Well, it's because air superiority is like the central doctrine of NATO. So many NATO tactics and so much NATO gear is built around air superiority. That's how you win.
Yep.
You take over the skies and then you just fuck them up.
You either fight with it or without it.
Mm-hmm. Grand Thumb recently did a video on with a couple of an American guy and a British guy that have been fighting in Ukraine for the last 2 years. And basically, because of the nature of the fighting, these two guys have been doing like trench warfare for the last 2 years. Yeah. And teaching tactics that were figured out 100 years ago in the First World War. Because, like, well, that's just the nature of the war. And there are some differences. So, like, one of the things they were talking about is something that you would, in World War I, you could do trench clearing in the very similar way to how they do it now, where everybody is watching each other's back, you go down different angles, use grenades whenever you can, right? But one thing that they would have never done in World War I that you can do today is just drive the Humvee right up to the trench and shoot the 50 cal down into it.
I feel like I watched the same video. The segment where they talked about drones and drone response was pretty freaking crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
the drone
scary.
stuff was nuts.
Like, I couldn't even imagine being on a battlefield and thinking you're safe in a trench, and then if your trench is not covered from up top, you're in danger constantly. Like, that must be terrifying.
That's basically what it's like to fight the United States, though.
Pretty much.
I mean, anyone that has ever engaged, there have been a very, very few cases where people that have fought against the United States have been interviewed. What's it like to fight against the U.S.? And the one unifying thing is that it's fucking terrifying. Because there are so many cases of we were just chilling out in a fortified position, and then all of a sudden the position was gone. Like, that shit is fucking scary.
Yeah, there was oh, I think I remember. I think the name of the channel that interviews guys on VR is like Sarah Zeal or something.
Yeah, I don't know it.
Yeah, he had a chat with a guy who managed the strikes that they would carry out in the Middle East.
Hmm.
So basically, you don't get the point of view of the fighters on the ground, but you get the point of view of the guy who marks the targets by watching through the drones.
Right.
And essentially, if you're on the ground, your only chance of survival is to realize that it's coming before it happens. So either you learn one of two things. Either you hear the missile, because these things are loud, obviously, and you learn to take cover, and you can tell what type of missile it is by the amount of noise that it's making on its approach. Or, if it's, for example, nighttime, if you see something that looks like a shooting star, it is not a shooting star.
Well, the one thing that they talked about with the Ukraine drone issue is that Russia doesn't really have an equivalent to the Predator drone. So they were talking about how usually, because the drones are smaller or commercial and stuff like that, you can see them or hear them. The difference with American Predator drones is that they're very small compared to like a bomber, and they fly very high. So, like, if an American Predator drone is over the airspace, you don't know about it until it starts hitting things. Right?
Energy low.
But they said that, like, it's nice to know that at least they can usually hear the drones overhead. As opposed to you're just sitting in your trench and suddenly a Hellfire missile hits you.
They're incredibly loud, commercial drones, especially the big quad or even tricopter drones. Apparently they sound like flying lawnmowers, no matter what altitude they're at, so you just hear like a buzzing in the distance, and they'll radio in, hey, is there a friendly drone in the area? And if the answer comes back within a little bit of time and the answer is no, take cover. Or they'll respond and say, yes, there's a friendly drone in the area, and it's whatever.
Exactly.
But it's crazy and interesting to see how far warfare has advanced in the past, like, 2 years that the Ukrainian conflict has been going on. Just because drones are changing shit so much. So much so that even Mexican cartels and other cartels in the South Americas are starting to use commercial drones to bomb things, which is terrifying.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
Because it's just so cheap. Like, literally anyone could just grab a commercial drone for like $300 or less, and then if you have the know-how, you could just strap something to it, and there you go, you got a mobile bomb. It's like, that is scary.
On the most basic level, all you have to do is take a drone, stick a hand grenade in an empty can, pull the pin, tape it to the drone, and then just crash the drone into whatever you see, and the grenade will come out of the can when it hits the ground. Like,
or you just have a simple release mechanism. It's not that hard.
It's really not.
For a release, it is incredibly simple, which is scary.
Yeah, it's crazy how fucking dangerous it is with the drones.
Crazy.
It's super bad.
I mean, it's not just bad in the sense that the drones themselves can do the damage, it's also, like, the information aspect of, oh, your enemy knows where you are at all times, because there's always a drone watching you, and it's like, that is terrible. It's like having the freaking UAV in Call of Duty, and you just see people on the map at all times, even when they're inside buildings. It's like, fuck, dude, it's fucked.
Hey, Smoking Joe, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah, the drone shit is fucking terrifying. It's pretty rough.
Like, the World War I trenches were bad. But then you go to
World War I trenches with drones.
Yeah, World War I trenches with drones. It's like, it just got worse.
We took World War I trenches and made them more terrifying.
But yeah, it is interesting to see modern trench warfare and how it has literally evolved.
What you building? We're building a big production facility, basically, so that we can pump in tons of materials and turn them into things very quickly.
You don't have to outmatch the enemy as long as you can outproduce them.
Pretty much. We have a very large space station to build. And we're gonna need a lot of shit to do that. So, and at some point in the future, we're gonna have to build a warship.
Yep.
And I'm sure that's gonna be very difficult and expensive. So,
And I hope we don't have too many Mac cannons. That's just a disappointment whenever you show up in atmospheres. Just get hit by 7 of them, and that's the end of that warship. It'd be a lot of time and effort.
yeah,
About that.
but that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes sometimes in a sci-fi universe, you show up to a relatively primitive planet with your absurdly advanced starship, and they just blow it up.
I'm looking at you, fucking Ewoks of Endor blown up.
Exactly. The Ewoks of Endor destroying an ATST with a log.
Don't care.
You know
how
what
advanced
wouldn't
you
get
are.
defeated by a single log? An Abrams? Or anything conventional?
Yeah, those things were made of paper if they were getting crushed by those logs.
You know what else wouldn't have been destroyed by a single log?
Hmm.
The ATTE from the Clone Wars.
Yeah, true.
The thing that was actually like...
You know, why did the Ewoks have those logs set up at that height anyway?
I don't know, man. They must have some crazy fucking predators on that planet that we never saw.
Like, they had those logs set up, like, in those perfect positions. Like, there's no way they set them up that fast. Like, come on.
I mean, there's no saying that they can't set them out that fast. You know.
And maybe Ewoks have a lot
they,
of
they
upper arm
also
strength.
measured, like, the perfect height to crush the head of the walker.
Yeah.
Like, what if it was an AT-AT and it was the huge walker? Would it just, like, ding off the leg? Like, it would not have been high enough.
They set it up in like 15 minutes. Give them a break.
Chewie was there for a while. Was he? I don't remember.
Does Chewie even remember the exact height of an Imperial walker?
I don't know. That's a good
Yeah,
one,
to
too.
the digit, to the inch. You know.
I don't know.
Now for the next question. Does Star Wars use the Imperial or the metric system?
I mean,
Of
they're
course they
literally
use
the
the
Imperials.
There's no
Unless
way they're
they're
using
rebels.
metric system.
Unless they're rebels.
Yes,
eat all the-
measure the Emperor's foot.
Wait a minute.
I used all the fucking computers again. There's a great Star Wars comic where
Energy low.
the Emperor is on his throne on Coruscant. And this is how they start the scene. It's pretty funny. He's just sitting on his throne. He has his 2 guards around him, like he always does. Darth Vader walks in and just picks up Palpatine, yeets him, and then throws the chair out of the room through the window. And Palpatine has this moment of, what the fuck are you doing? Before the chair explodes. And then immediately realizes, oh, the chair had explosives in it somehow. Darth Vader turns to the guards and kills them. Just immediately. And that's how the comic starts.
That's pretty funny. After all the Emperor's planning, imagine if he was done in that way.
Yeah. The whole comic is Darth Vader and the Emperor removing rebels from the inner circles. People that were trying to get rid of the Emperor in particular. Because a lot of the higher ranking Imperials were super aware that if they just got rid of Palpatine, all the problems would go away.
Yep.
Like, the people at large in the Empire did not know that. But anybody that was in the inner circle was super aware of the fact that, oh, he just runs everything.
If I take out that guy, I mean, big power vacuum.
Very few of them knew that the Force existed, too. So...
Why every time Lord Vader decided to do his sudden choking in every room, it was always a surprise.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, there weren't very many people that knew about the Force. And most of the ones that found out about it died shortly after, so... So are you really gonna watch Battle LA after this?
I mean, I am considering.
I really like that movie. And the helicopter scene in particular.
I mean, I might consider it too late, but I mean, I'm not tired, so I might just stay up till 2 a.m. just to watch Battle LA.
Completely fair.
Also, Smokin' is right. Darth Vader in the comics is, like, a force of nature.
I mean, Darth Vader in the comics gave us scenes like the one where he was surrounded by literally a rebel army after he crashed. It was just like, I'm surrounded by fear and dead men.
Yeah.
Like, Vader in the comics is bad ass, man.
He's
Very scary, man.
He's war crime incarnate, you know?
I would say the only time we ever got, like, Vader in the comics in the movies is at the end of Rogue One, where everyone lost their shit in that hallway scene.
Yes, oh, that was so good.
The recent Obi-Wan show, there's a scene where Darth Vader, a starship tries to take off, and Darth Vader pulls it down to the ground.
With so much fucking ease.
And then rips it apart. Like,
That
a whole
was
starship
there.
in seconds. That was good, too. But, yeah. Darth Vader in the comics is, like, a force of nature. He's basically a walking nuke.
And there's so much I love about the Rogue One scene. Like, I love how well the extras in that hallway portrayed, like, seeing a Force user for the first time after hearing of them only in myth. Like, people running around with light swords, that doesn't exist. And then you see your buddy getting thrown into the ceiling with telekinesis, and you're like, well, shit, I'm gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know who the guy was at the end of that fucking scene that screamed the word launch after he closed the door, but that extra needs a fucking raise because the fear in that man's voice was real.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Wait, did I get the... I think I did.
You know what? I think you've actually convinced me. I think after I'm done assembling this here, I'm gonna go bother my roommate and see if he's awake and see if he wants to watch Battle LA.
Oh my goodness.
E.T. is a Star Wars movie? Yes, I agree. E.T. is just a Jedi.
My god, how did E.T. survive Order 66?
He fell
Right,
through a
50-50.
dimensional hole.
50-50 that it works. I wonder if Tim works with groups or if it has to be each individual thing.
You tell me.
No, I won't tell you because I
Okay.
don't know.
I don't want to know.
Too bad.
I just want it to work. Where's all the fucking steel at? Am I blind? What the fuck? We're literally making the steel plates. Why can't I see them? Oh, that's why. Because they're not ending up in the cargo container. Because the TIM is turned off right now. Oh. Whoops.
Nice.
That's not where that goes. Oops, wrong hole.
That's not real.
Just imagine saying that in the exact scenario. It was like, oh, whoops. It's like, you asshole. Fuck. Well, alright. I'm gonna go bother my roommate. I'm gonna watch Battle Los Angeles now.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Thanks for hanging out.
Oh yeah, always. Ben, get moved in faster, bro.
Energy
No.
low.
Damn. Well, I tried.
It's not my choice.
I'll see you in 2 weeks, AWOL.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Aye aye. Yeah, I am under the not the command, but like I can't move in early. Teehee.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It happens.
It is what it is. So there's like a 50-50 that this works. I'm pretty sure I've set it up the same way.
Well,
But,
we'll find out.
Yep.
The other thing we need is places to actually connect things to the platform.
Yeah.
Should probably give us lots of room so that we can connect large ships directly to it.
Yeah.
Very sleepy.
Very eep. There we go. Yeah, it looks like it's working properly. It's starting. It's starting to autofill the names of
Nice.
things now. Yeah, so it should be working proper.
Cool.
Yeah. Now, question for the refineries: do we want certain refineries only doing certain ores, or do we just not care?
Well, considering how many of them we have, I'd say just fill the rest of them with yields and just have them process everything.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we're playing on a server that we've been doing for, what, 2 years?
Already that long?
I don't know. It's been a long fucking time. If you told me it was 2 years, I would believe it.
Oh, what? Yeah, 100%.
I'm gonna knock on wood before I say this, but I can't believe we haven't hit each other yet.
I'm gonna start aiming for you.
Yeah, we've been at this for a while. For a long fucking time.
Just a hot minute. Not too long. If we ever do finish this series, I kind of want to do another one, but not versus, because this one's kind of stretched out.
Mm-hmm.
Longer than I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe just like a group thing would be nice instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could make a whole new solar
Mm-hmm.
system that's not fucking tiny. Maybe you throw in a lot more planets.
No.
No?
No. I'll be happy if I never play this game again.
Jesus Christ, man. Alright, there's a little connector here now. A little baby.
Oh, that's a wall.
Don't do that. I was aiming for you, but I hit something else. Teehee.
What's the end game? So red team is on Earth building a base that we have to then destroy. But there are certain steps we have to accomplish before we're allowed to go there and do that. Well, attempt.
My body's going so far away. Oh no. Where'd it go? Yeah, my backpack is just zooming.
See? So everything we're doing is for that end goal,
Yeah.
ultimately.
The goal is kill each other.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now, if you want to get into technicalities, we each have a quote-unquote beacon that's supposed to represent like our flag, I guess. The one that destroys the other team's flag is the victor. We should probably set up some lights here. That might be a little useful.
Build a Death Star? I mean, we might.
We're doing something kind of similar.
God only knows what our eventual warship will look like.
Yeah.
Just 10 layers of steel.
Drop a whole fucking wall on it.
Also, yeah, I agree. We should probably put some lights on this bitch.
Yeah, I'm getting construction comps right now.
Alright, that's all the speed modules on the assemblers done. 2 Death Stars? Well, now you're asking for a lot.
They're a genius. What are you talking about?
I don't know, boss. That's a lot of death.
Huh? I don't know. By the time we get there, we should have, like, printer ready. So,
True.
yeah. It's just about getting the material at that point.
Also, printing stuff takes forever.
It's a lot faster than doing it
By hand,
though.
yes, but
Yeah.
still forever.
Yeah.
get all these yield modules placed so I can start building them. Fuck.
No, thank you.
Oh god, that's a wall. Okay, hold on. Let me do this.
Every now and then I come across a armor block that has like it's at 93%, just
Yeah, it's
randomly.
probably just something I didn't finish. Like I ran out of armored plates halfway through. But because
Yeah.
it's like complete, I can't see that it's incomplete.
Yeah.
We gotta get this processing center up and running before I stop.
Yeah.
Oh
Well, we
yeah,
should be able to
yield
get it.
modules take superconductors. I forgot about that.
Yikes. Yeah.
Alright, that's fine. Just gotta make a shitload of them.
Energy
Yeah.
low.
Oh yeah, that's looking nice.
Did you slap a medical lab down yet?
Not yet. No, I will do that as soon as I can. Also about finding a spot for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Energy critical.
Yeah. Energy critical. I know. I'm working on it. Fuck off. How's that going? Alright. I can make a few more at least.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
I think we're out of construction components again.
Oh no, I just have a bunch on me. Sorry. Energy, fuck off. I think that's the
we're
one
out of
thing
them
I
again.
hate about this game. Always. Right. There's a bunch more in there. I don't remember how many I grabbed, but it was a lot.
Yeah, I put 5,000 in the queue again.
Mhm.
So we've already used 5,000 in the last, like, hour.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yee.
It's a lot.
God. Ever since, like, I found that, like, the thing about the lights, like
Settings, yeah.
yeah, it's been chef's kiss.
Oh, yeah. It's way better when you set them up that way.
It's not as in your face light.
Mm-hmm. Okie dokie. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping
Stay
by.
safe.
Take care.
Interior plates for this.
Make sure you're drinking enough water, or else there will be consequences.
Now, do we need a medical lab, or will just a survival kit do?
Do the lab just because the survival kit is so much slower.
Fair.
The survival kit takes like 3 times as long to fill up your fucking power.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, at this point, I just sit in a chair that's, like, connected to the thing. And that goes pretty fast.
We should probably build more batteries too.
Yeah. Might be good. Oh, so we have to finish all the conveyors underneath at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah. Might be good.
probably. All the yield modules on one side are done. Now do the other side.
Yeehaw.
Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum.
Alright, we have, it's upside down.
What did you do?
It'll do. It's upside down?
Well,
It still works.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
I did.
Whatever.
There's no up in space. Alright, what else are we missing? Oh yeah, all the fucking conveyors. My dumbass. Eyes.
Labba-dabba-dabba-dabba-dee-ba-dabba-dabba-dabba-doo. Labba-dabba-dabba-dabba-dabba-dabba-dabba-dabba.
On God.
No,
In this economy?
no.
I know it's probably redundant, but I do have things set up like a circuit. So everything's one way.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Nice. I tried to use as few conveyor tubes as I could.
Makes sense.
Energy low.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's just all the modules now.
Okay.
Strong unknown signal.
I'm just queuing up a bunch of stuff in the shark to manufacture.
Yep. I feel like I should make the top connector a bit farther away. I don't know. If we want to hook up like something big, then I don't want it to be too close
Yeah, probably. Probably a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Another 5 will be good. There we go.
I'm just building more batteries.
Mm-hmm.
Or not, because we're out of power cells.
You want to try connecting the shark to the asteroid base now? Maybe we
Yeah,
can
that's probably a good idea.
utilize all of the
Um,
fucking
did you set all the
assemblers.
assemblers to help each other?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Just pull all the shit out of the shark at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Pull everything out and stick it in there.
Yeah.
Be my guest. Just don't hit anything.
As soon as I get to the cockpit, save. I love the what's it called? The bridge.
Oh yeah, the bridge of the shark is pretty good.
All right, I'm in the cockpit. Quick save.
Yep.
Thank you. I love the way it sounds when it's dying.
You want me to put a connector on the side here?
I think I have a connector on the bottom, don't I?
Do you?
Yeah. It's a little hard to see, but
Oh yeah,
I do.
you do. I wasn't sure.
I don't remember when I put that there, but it's there.
Yeah, I too enjoy the sounds of grinding metal.
It's my favorite.
Oh, you went way too far.
Oh,
Back a
yeah,
little
it's
bit
a little. Yeah.
more. And you can start going down. I mean, you're still not close, but you might as well get closer vertically. I mean,
Yeah.
I would also advise leaving the engines on.
While it's
Correct.
Okay.
Because if something happens to this conveyor,
There's no gravity.
I know, but you know, it makes me feel better. You should tilt down a little bit too. A tiny bit more. Okay.
Any particular direction?
Just keep going down a little bit at a time, and I'll tell you when to stop. Okay. Turn to the right a little bit. And now go left. And just a tiny bit more. Okay.
Down.
Now backwards a tiny bit. Okay, and now down. It should line up when you get there. Yep, there you go.
There it is. Hold on. Which connector is that? Do you want to hover over and see what it's called?
Connector.
Oh, ready to connect. Connector 8 is what it is.
Yeah, I don't see the 8. Oh, there it is. Never mind. Yeah, connector 8. I forgot it's on the other side of the screen.
Yeah. And start naming them. That is now Shark Connector down, because it's the only one that goes down. And it shouldn't consume too much fuel like this, right?
No. No, it shouldn't use any fuel at all. But if something happens that makes it move, then it will stop itself.
Yeah.
Like if it gets dinged. Well, it looks like the station is pulling everything in.
Energy low.
So that's cool.
Name. I'm gonna add base. That's sort of all the cargo things.
Oh, that was the problem.
What's the issue?
You have to set one of the assemblers to not cooperate.
Oh yeah, that's like the main.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it will pull stuff from that to the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not perfect, but it works.
Yeah. The one that immediately gets like routed to for me is Industrial Assembler 3. What about
Which
you?
is on the Shark.
Yeah.
So I just did the first Tim one.
Mhm.
The first Tim one is the first one on the base.
Every time I open the production thing, it just routes to Industrial Assembler 3.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Probably it just defaults to the... I don't know why it would default to that one, but it defaults to it for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It is
Who
what
cares?
it is.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Once the shark is empty of shit.
Ooh.
If it just keeps pulling.
Because the shark's connected to the medical room here, also does oxygen and helium now.
Ah, good.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't take very long to make 500 battery power cells.
I'd assume it'd be very quick now.
Seems to be equalizing between the two containers.
Nice.
So there's about 5,700 steel plates in both. Interesting.
I think it's because they both have the Tim thing. Tim is
Right.
probably cross.
It's trying to
Cross-grid.
split it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, last 3 yield modules. I think.
Yep.
Everything is done on the assembly side?
Yep. All done.
Nice.
We got some more batteries on the bottom to build, but that's about it. And they're a pain in the ass because power cells.
Are heavy as hell.
Mm-hmm. Did I make enough computers? Yes. Game's getting a little unhappy at all the assemblers running.
I can only assume as much. Probably doesn't expect you to have this many going at the same time.
Nope. Game very much does not like you to do that. Oh well.
I'm curious to see how far Red Team has gotten.
I don't know. We could probably send a scout ship over there at some point.
Yeah.
now that we can just create an FSD.
Yeah.
Well, not quite. We have to do a lot of mining.
Yeah, we have a few SSDs, at least. As is.
Right. But we don't want to send any of these ships over there.
Yeah.
Send a basic scout ship that we don't mind losing. Basically,
What if they
just give
have-
it some engines and an FSD.
Yeah. I wonder if they have like an ant hill of just tunnels.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
Somehow I suspect that their defenses are not that complicated.
No.
They're not you.
Yeah. I like to how do you
Over-engineer.
put it? Yeah.
It happens. And it is a video game. This isn't real life. So if you
Yeah.
want to over-engineer, I mean, have fun.
Yeah. It's probably over-engineering is probably really good for being on the defensive side, maybe. I don't know.
True.
Yeah. It gives us the competitive edge. Probably.
Probably.
In power cells.
Oh, I forgot about the ones on the side there.
Yeah.
Oh well. You know, the shark is quite a bit bigger on the outside than it is on the inside.
Yeah.
Looking up at it, it's like, it's actually pretty big.
That's because it's all like corridors and path thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And all the batteries look like they're done.
Cool. That's probably enough for now, anyway. We can worry about that later if we start running into power problems.
Fucking Dreamy's pink ass room can be seen straight from the outside. Mine's not any better, it's green. But still. It's not as standout-ish.
Yeah, at some point next week. Not next week, 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Take the large miner.
Mm-hmm. Mining ship. The large mining ship.
Mm-hmm.
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Mm-hmm. We should probably put another connector on that base. Like on the side or something.
Yeah, that would help, yeah. We could probably put it on the back of the refinery.
Yeah,
kinda
that'll
wanna-
probably work too.
Yeah. I kind of want to still have, like, cargo access from the front.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna have to make this a T shape real fast. Energy low.
I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Get that.
And this is just for like smaller like mining ships, right? So it doesn't need to be too far away?
No,
It needs to be right
I'm
off.
building one on the other side anyway.
Okie doke.
We got plenty of room on this side. There. Alright, let me bring this
Nice.
bitch in so the battery can charge.
Mhm.
All this time that the mining ship has been sitting here, it's only at 9% charge.
Yikes.
So it's gained maybe 1%
Yeah.
from sitting here for 2 hours.
I mean, it's better than nothing.
Solar panels are not very efficient. I want to connect it to the base so that it can actually charge.
Yeah.
I might as well test it first. Test the refineries, I mean.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of power, so I can mine a little bit of stone.
Mhm. I've also connected the quad miner. The quad mining ship.
Cool.
E. If we really wanted, we could probably also connect the Yarhart to the back over here. Just get everything connected to the fucking the new base.
Solar panel over there is freaking the fuck out.
Yeah. I love Clang. It shouldn't cause any issues though.
Nah, it did settle.
Yeah.
Freaked out a bit and then relaxed.
Yeah. I think it's because I have limiters on like how far it can turn. And the sun is at an X angle that's like, I really want to face it, but I fucking can't, sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah. I figured having limiters would probably be very good.
Yeah, it usually is a good idea. Oh yeah, I forgot the mining ship has refineries on it.
Yeah.
Only 2, but
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Better than none. I'm gonna see if I can connect the Yarhar. I did a lot of mining, so there should be some room.
I have removed a large cube from the asteroid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna connect in a second. Oh, we got about, let's see. How heavy is the ship? Very. A few million kilograms of, and by a few, I mean over a dozen million kilograms of stone.
Yeah.
So we'll see how quickly that gets processed. Probably a while, if I had to guess.
Yeah. Keep forgetting how much, like, upward thrust this thing has.
Mm-hmm. Alright, small problem.
What's up?
I am out of batteries.
Scheiße.
I am not able to stop the ship.
Christ. What do you want to do?
I just need you to link something up. The Yarhar would be ideal.
Alright, where does it connect to and from?
The butt.
God, this is gonna be, some, interstellar bullshit.
I'm gonna save the game.
Please.
Alright, game saved.
I can't, like, link up with your fucking, turn my dampers off. It's very tedious.
Mm-hmm. The good news is we have a lot of time before we hit that asteroid over there. You're a little too far to the left.
I know. I'm making adjustments.
I'm glad you are, because I can't.
Fingers crossed. We're touching, but
Just down a little.
not. Yeah. Come on. There we go. And
I got it.
oh, you should have said that before I pressed it. I'll handle it.
Well, I'm almost stopped now, at least. So you can turn your dampeners off, because I'm only moving at like 0.2. Just line it up normally. I've almost come to a complete stop now, so.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll let you do it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna put these on charge. If you could, bring us back to the station.
Yeah, will do.
I'm gonna turn these off.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're going right against me.
Yeah, just bring me close to that connector on the side, and then once I have like 2-3% battery, I'll be able to line it up.
Yeah. It looks kind of cool from over here.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with like the big ring around us.
Oh yeah, it does look cool.
As your connector, do you have a connector in the front or probably not?
Nope.
Alright.
So just bring us close, and I'll line it up after you're disconnected.
I'll let you like charge for a bit at least. I'm at 91. So.
I'm already at 6%. That's plenty.
Jesus.
Once we're closer. I set them to charge, so they're just yanking it from the Yarhars.
Yeah, I'm already at 88.
Alright, that's good enough.
Right here?
Yep.
Alright, disconnecting.
Auto. There we go. And since this drill head is bigger than the Yarhar, at least until you hit the thrusters on the Yarhar, the pods on the back, I mean, we can always just do the same thing that we did on the moon. And just keep it connected.
Yeah.
It is connected. And I turned everything off.
Chart is almost there. Shark is connected and
You mean
charging.
Yarhar?
Yeah. I should also go make sure that the shark is charging though.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. They all have nuclear reactors on them, so that's probably not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it will take a while, but it's moving
it's at
pretty
99.
fast.
It's at 99 anyways.
The refineries are... the refineries are eating like 10,000 kilograms every 2 or 3 seconds.
Fucking hell.
So... probably process the entire, stock of stone in an hour.
Oh yeah, I
And
can see
that's
that.
millions of kilograms of stone. Alright. Anything else we need to do?
Nothing really comes to mind. No.
Funnily enough, the Yarhar took most of the stone out of the miner when it was connected.
Yeah.
So now the Yarhar has most of the stone. But yeah, they are going to be a little slower because they only have one speed module. But
They got a lot more yield, so...
yeah, it's not a problem.
There's a Cyclops over there. 3.5 clicks away. Should probably make a spot for the Corvette eventually. I think we just about did all that we need to.
Yeah, it's just going fucking fast. It's probably all the silicon and nickel we're gonna need for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to go get some giant deposit of cobalt at some point,
Yeah.
but that's fine. That will be next time's problem of, okay, now we have all the processing and shit. Let's just go get a shitload of materials.
Yeah. Just mining and mining and mining.
Until we fill up all the cargo containers. And then it's like, okay, we don't ever have to mine anything ever again.
Yeah. I am putting a little NPC crew thing that should increase production.
Hmm.
I still don't know how much in production they increase, but teehee.
Hmm.
Yeah, the conductors are kind of icky. Actually, what? Let me see.
Let's see what the
What does it
mod
say?
says.
Yeah, I was gonna look at what it says here. This block will upgrade all production blocks on the grid it is placed on. How much it upgrades them, I don't know. But it sounds useful. What's up?
I'm just trying to figure out. Is it the blue one? I think, I'm not sure if I'm looking at the same mod, that's why I'm curious.
NPC crew?
NPC Android crew?
I believe that's it, yeah.
Okay. The production specialist?
Yes.
It only improves ice conversion
Oh.
and drill output.
Man, that's really lame.
The orange one, the engineering specialist, improves power output by 300% and reduces power consumption on some blocks to 50%.
So it would be better to switch to that one.
So the orange one is way better
Mm-hmm.
because it'll adjust. Will produce 300% more power, and certain blocks will use a lot less.
What does the combat mobility one do?
Thrusters and gyros by 300,
Jesus.
so they're 3 times more efficient.
Well, I guess the good thing is that the
Should
production and
probably put that on the
engineering.
miner.
Yeah.
The mining
Production
ship
and
is sorry.
Oh, it's your turn.
The mining ship, even in 0G, is a little cumbersome.
Yeah.
So I might do the red one on that.
Luckily, all 3 of them cost the same.
But yeah, the production one only affects converting ice to hydrogen and oxygen, and drill efficiency.
So we could probably put that on the mining ship.
Yeah, I'll put one red and one blue on the mining ship.
Mm-hmm.
That'll make a big difference.
Mm-hmm. It'd be nice if it said that in the little descriptor.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But it's a mod. Can't expect them to think of everything.
Yep.
Not
Some
when
of
they're,
us were stupid
you know,
and they're not
a team of
accommodating.
1.
How dare they? For shame.
When you have a team of 1, guess what? You miss shit.
Well, guess what? They're lame-o.
How much silicon do we have? Let's see. Oh, because it's getting split between the shark and here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's 58. Let me just go by the silicon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna set a 60-second timer. And it is at 60,000 right now. And let's see what it's at in 60 seconds.
I think we got the major thing done today.
Yeah, it's definitely processing that stone pretty fucking fast. It's been 30 seconds and we've already got another 2.5 thousand kilograms of silicon.
Jesus Christ.
And about 10,000 kilograms of iron in that time. It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be back over 1 million kilograms of iron soon.
Nice to be back with the high numbers.
I bet Red Team has not even seen 1 million kilograms of iron.
No.
It's the kind of shit you can only get from mining in space. In bulk quantities. Alright. I'm gonna go
It'd
park
probably
my
go
ass.
for the amount of platinum and uranium that we got. You're gonna what?
I'm gonna park my ass in a cryopod.
Yeah, I'll join.
Bedtime. I'm tired.
My body is aching right now.
I bet. Moving is difficult.
Oh no, it's just work.
Oh, that too.
Yeah. Oh.
Alright. Are you out?
Yep, I am going out right now. Good to go.
Okay. Save. And make a new one as always. 0223. Alright, good shit.
Aye.
The production center is complete. We have enough refineries and assemblers to crash a smaller computer.
The way it's meant to be. Oh.
Surprise, motherfucker.
I
Hey,
think I sent
Jamie.
you. Hi, Dreamy. It's good
It's
to see you.
bedtime. You better not be raiding me, I swear to God.
Yeah, we're just ending things right now.
I'm going to bed. I'm tired. Please don't do this to me. I'll cry.
If you get rated, you're obligated to go for another hour. So
I know. Oh, okay. Thank you, Dreamy. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, have a good night, everybody. Thank you for coming back for more Space Engineers. We won't be doing this again in 2 weeks,
Until
I think you said.
we're just skipping 1 week, yeah,
Okay,
because I'm doing my move and I'm not gonna have my computer.
cool.
Teehee.
All right. So, yeah, have a good night, everybody. Take care. Drink lots of water, get lots of sleep. That's an order. And I'll see
Yeah.
you next time. Bye-bye.
Yes, Captain.